Hello again, welcome back to the new episode. I have a list here for this one because it's the Godzilla second period I'm talking about. This is the Godzilla movies that ran from Return of Godzilla to Godzilla Vs Destroyah. So this followed on the original series. It went from Godzilla to I think it was Terror or Mechagodzilla. So that was like, I think it's 15 movies they covered. They started off very serious and became campier as went along, because the 60s and 70s had a lot of camp in the cinema. So this was the kind of reboot. This is when they tried to get Godzilla back on track. Because Godzilla had gone from the villain to the hero, and it had gone from like serious film, or film with serious subtext, to kiddie films. So they're trying to return it to what it should have, not what it should have been, it's just another interpretation. Godzilla's kind of like Batman, where you can do the fun stuff, you can do the serious stuff. There's a variety of stuff you can do with Godzilla that's, as long as it's not, the only thing you can't do with Godzilla is do what they did with the 1998 Godzilla, which was turn him into a iguana and have him run around and do nothing interesting. That's the thing you can't do with Godzilla and make it work. But everything else, you can do a lot with Godzilla. Because Godzilla's like the base, Godzilla's like the object in the middle of the film that you can bounce off in different ways. It's not like Batman, where Batman's like, this sort of figure doesn't change that much, but he's all these weird characters around about him that follow the drama a lot. So Godzilla's a very adaptable character. So the Criterion's going to release the first period, first 15 films in October in America and November in Britain. But this is the second period. I've got a lot of Godzilla films on Blu-ray, so I'm covering them in the lead up to the Criterion collection. I'm going to follow this series up with, I'm going to cover the Millennium series in a few weeks, which will actually, I'll be doing as a without subtitle series, where basically I'm watching them without the subtitles, because I don't have the subtitles with these editions I have, and I'm seeing how they work without subtitles. So that should be interesting. I've already started watching those ones, they're quite fun. But this is the Godzilla, like the second period. This is a lot of the stronger films in this one. This is, although there's quite a lot of, in the first period, there's a lot of strong films there too that I really like. But generally, unless it's really bad, I'm going to like a Godzilla movie. You know, you have to really go out your way to be a bad Godzilla film for me to hate it. Even the kind of weak ones, there's usually a good 10-15 minutes that I'm going to enjoy. Right, so we have Return of Godzilla, Godzilla vs Biollante, Godzilla vs King Ghidorah, Godzilla and Mothra, Battle for Earth, Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla 2, which strange because the first Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla was from the first period. I don't know what happened there. Godzilla vs Space Godzilla, what a great title, and Godzilla vs Destroyah. Those are all the films of this period. These are all continuing on from each other. They follow on from each film, where like whatever happens to Godzilla in one film, that's where it starts in the next one. There is one character that goes through most of these films from Biollante to Destroyah called Mika, who's a character that's used a little, but she's a background character. She's not, until later on, she doesn't become dynamic in the plots that much, or she doesn't feel like she's that dynamic in the plots, and there's no build between the films of the character that's that interesting, but she's a likeable presence. It's just that they could have done more with the character. But the actress is fun, plays her, it's enjoyable film, but there's not that much consistency because they can use her whatever way the new director wants to use her. And so they didn't really build an arc for her, because I just make it up from film to film. So, and everyone else just comes and goes from film to film. There's no consistency of cast. But we'll just start going through the films. The first one, Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1984, was the big return, the big comeback for Godzilla after all these monster fights he was doing. Basically, this is the first one where Godzilla returns. It's basically a sequel to the first Godzilla film, and it ignores every other film in the series. Nothing else in that first period exists apart from Godzilla, the first one. A new Godzilla monster appears after they destroy the first monster, so there must have been a second monster that was part of the nuclear explosion. It's just finally surfaced. It attacks Tokyo, of course, because why not attack Tokyo? And because the Japanese government are paranoid, they built this machine that would fight it, this big tank thing that floats in the air, and so it's basically Godzilla attacks Tokyo. Or there's the first third is them getting rumours there's this infection, this Godzilla thing. There's rumours of Godzilla coming back from the dead and all that, and then eventually it's discovered, yep, it is Godzilla. Godzilla attacks Tokyo. This machine that's been built to fight it attacks Godzilla, and both sides are fighting each other. And that's the film. What's great about the film? Well, the simple thing about the film is very simple. It's like build up, Godzilla attacks, the other thing attacks it back, and they end up forcing Godzilla out. They find something that Godzilla, some signal that Godzilla thinks is talking, and ends up drawing it into a volcano. The volcano blows up and engulfs Godzilla. That's it. Godzilla's dead. But what's good about the film is its simplicity. It's all about atmosphere of the build-up. Then Godzilla destroys Tokyo, and you get some amazing. What's really good about this series of films is most of it's pre-CGI, or even if there's CGI in there, CGI at that time was very expensive. Like very basic shots of CGI in the early 90s cost a fortune, so you couldn't just splash CGI on everything. You had to actually plan it out, and where do we really need it? So these films actually, because Return of Godzilla was before CGI came in, the rest of them was as it was going through the industry. So they have to use models, and the models here are gorgeous. They really put the effort into all these buildings, and then they have them collapse as Godzilla smashes through them. You're just watching it thinking, that's a beautiful model. And then it's enjoyment of watching it crumble. That's another beautiful model. The models are beautiful. There's some characters in there that, honestly, they're fine, but after you've seen the film, that's not what you remember. You remember the monster fights, you remember Godzilla and what he's up to and what he's about. And just the atmosphere of the middle section as they go through as Tokyo gets attacked and destroyed, and this big thing that floats is fighting Godzilla. It's not the best of the new series. It's a good start, but I would say it's a bit long for the plot it's got. It's a bit long. That's the problem with the first two films in this series, I think, is both of them were too long for their running. The runtime was too long for the story they had. And there were just little bits and bobs you could cut out, and it made a much more efficient film. It doesn't destroy the films, but it just means they feel a bit on the long side. It's like if you got both of them down to an hour and a half, they would have really delivered. I mean, Godzilla films tend to average about an hour 40. I mean, I'm not sure what the first two films running times is, but they do feel both of them feel like there's 10 minutes too much in them. Like you just lost little bits here or there, and it would have cleared the way for a better film. But that's not too bad. There's a lot of good films that have 10, 15 minutes too long. It's like, well, I'll forgive it. I enjoyed it, so it would be nice if we'd lost some of that, but too bad. I think a lot of monster films have that problem. They get a bit carried away and they don't cut out as much as they should. It's kind of a shame, but it's forgivable. So Godzilla vs Biollante was made like 4 or 5 years later. Like, I wasn't sure. I don't think they'd planned to do a series. They just did a one-off Return of Godzilla, and then it was like, oh yeah, let's do some more of these again. It did well. Let's do some more. So Toho made Godzilla vs Biollante. And Biollante is a monster that's made by genetic engineering, mixing plant life with Godzilla DNA. As I try to create these plants that can grow in the desert to try and make the desert livable. Try and like bring the desert back to life to make more areas of the earth livable. It's not working, and then they try a weird experiment with some Godzilla DNA because he can re-replicate and grow his genes. His genes can self-heal really quickly. It's a bad idea to mix these two together, of course, because it turns into a monster with, you know, Godzilla type attributes, but also plant attributes, and it's this monster that's a bit of a problem. Also, that's the point Godzilla escapes from the volcano. There's rumours of all these rumbles. There's rumours that something's up with this volcano that where they trapped Godzilla in the first film. Godzilla escapes, goes on a rampage. At this point, this plant has grown to this big plant called Biollante, and it may or may not have the reincarnation of the lead scientist's daughter who died in the first 5 minutes of the film. So the lead scientist is a bit crazy and he's not sure if his reincarnated daughter is in the plant or not. Yeah, it's a crazy plot. But it kind of works because it's Godzilla films, you don't really need them to be realistic. It's a Godzilla movie, so you can go that crazy. But the problem, like I said before, was it's too long, and I think if they shortened down a little bit, you would have less time to think about it and it'd feel much more like a mythical thing and it would have worked better. Here they take too long talking about it. There's also this weird John Woo-ish subplot about industrial espionage and people shooting each other a lot, and yeah, these Godzilla films always take influence by what's around them. That's why the 70s and 60s movies were very campy, because that was like the Bond era and stuff. So they always take influence by what's around them, and they always get influenced by the culture. And this one, because John Woo, the Hong Kong movies were big at the time, so they drive a bit of John Woo there. Doesn't really work, it's in the way. You're just really waiting for the fights, and the fights are good. When Godzilla turns up and takes on Biollante, it's good fun, because Biolante's a plant with lots of things coming out of it, and it can bite into Godzilla. It's a different kind of battle, because it's harder to destroy, and it's getting different. It's not an animal for Godzilla to fight, so it can take him down in different ways. And it's really enjoyable. I'd recommend going and try and see this one. I'm trying not to give away all the fight moves or anything, but it's enjoyable. And there's a nice ending. There's a good ending where Godzilla ends up going into. It doesn't have to kill Godzilla. It does something else to Godzilla to stop the threat of Godzilla. That's quite nice. It's a very humane moment. Again, it's a frustrating film because there's so much good stuff in it, but the bad stuff kind of drags it down. It just needs to have been cut down slightly. But it's still a very enjoyable film. But it's minor compared to what's going to follow. Because what follows is probably, I think it's the best run of Godzilla movies, for me at least. Because you start with Godzilla vs King Ghidorah. This one has a daft plot, but the plot doesn't matter because it's the fights are so good and the fights are plentiful. Basically, it's a time travel movie because, again, because Godzilla movies are influenced by the culture, there was a lot of big time travel franchises at that time. There was Back to the Future, there was Terminator. So they get influenced by that and did their own version of Godzilla, where these people from the future come back and tell them Godzilla's going to destroy Japan pretty soon, and he will destroy in a way that's unlivable for centuries. So they have to find a way to destroy Godzilla to stop this happening. Because they've worked out that Godzilla was once a dinosaur, and they worked out where he was hiding in World War II because of an incident where he was spotted fighting against the Americans. Actually, it's a very fun sequence. Defending Japanese against Americans. It's really enjoyable. They know where he is, so they decide to go back, take Godzilla out of the zone he's in and move him somewhere else so he doesn't get hit by the radiation. Then, unknown to them, these people in the future are lying, and then they put down these three little creatures that become King Ghidorah. Like, once they hit by radiation, they become King Ghidorah, who eventually emerges to start attacking Japan. The reality is, in the plot, is Japan has actually gone from being a normal country to being a super state that's covering the world, and it's the most influential state, and it's causing havoc for the world. So they'll try to destroy Japan, so it never happens. This is a big fear of Japan in the late 80s, early 90s, that it was so successful it would take over everybody. So you get a lot of paranoia, but you see some books like Red, Rising Sun and stuff. There's this paranoia about Japan at the time that didn't come too much, because Japan's just a country and it has its own problems, and eventually it settled down to its own level in the world economy. But at the time, it's paranoid about it. The world was paranoid about Japan. So this film's almost like taking the mickey at the paranoia, like, we have to destroy Japan with a giant monster. So I like to think that this was the Japanese directors mocking the paranoia about Japan. I hope that's the case, because it feels like that's what they're doing. They're just like mocking, like, come on, really? So So suddenly King Ghidorah is destroying Japan, and it's what they're going to do. The aliens have taken up. The time travelers are going to help them, obviously. Because it turns out the Godzilla, because the area near Japan is so radioactive from the fallout anyway, the Godzilla, despite the fact it was taken away from that, has had 30 years to absorb the radiation and grow into Godzilla anyway. So they didn't do anything, they just made the process longer for him to rise. And he rises much bigger than he was before, and much angrier. And he is not happy. But of course, first of all, he goes after King Ghidorah, and we have a massive blow the hell out of Tokyo fight where they just destroy an entire city. I'm not sure I think it's a different city, not Tokyo, but they destroy a city, they just destroy it, fight each other, and Godzilla beats the hell out of King Ghidorah. And this is a great fight. Then Godzilla starts trashing the city anyway, because he's mad. And they realise, oh god, we're not getting Godzilla to deal with. So one of the future people have actually turned to help the humans, because she doesn't agree with what they're doing. And she goes back to the future, finds the body of King Ghidorah, resets it as an android that she can control, and she comes back from the future, our King Ghidorah, to fight Godzilla one more time to take him down. And it's awesome. Like, you've got a Metal King Ghidorah versus Godzilla. It's an awesome movie. It's daft as a brush, but it's so fun. It's just so enjoyable. And you've got this whiny writer the whole way through who's all these theories about Godzilla that turn out to be true. And he's just whiny the whole time. You feel like slapping him, but it's kind of fun because you're in the middle of this awesome movie, this annoying character. That's something that makes it perfect. But it's a brilliant movie. It's so enjoyable. It's one of the most fun Godzilla movies. So I highly recommend it. Next we get King Godzilla and Mothra, Battle for Earth. This is more like a Mothra movie, but Godzilla shows up once in a while. And I like Mothra, so I had no problem with this. This and King Ghidorah are probably my two favourites of this period. Even though the other stuff I really like too, these two I really enjoy. And this one, the earthquakes reveal this giant egg, as well as the two little guardians of Mothra, who industrialists take to Tokyo to exploit for money, as well as bringing the egg back to Tokyo. Halfway along, the egg gets attacked by Godzilla, who turns up, goes mad. The egg hatches, and the part of Mothra, the first stage of Mothra, escapes and starts fighting Godzilla in the sea. And that's just so much fun. It's just enjoyable because that's more spouting all this junk at Godzilla in a way that's, let your imagination see what this looks like. It's a lot of fun. Then eventually Godzilla departs because Mothra's guardians have been kidnapped. Mothra goes to the city to get them back. Then when it solves that problem and finds out where they are, and they're going to be released, Godzilla shows up again, seemingly kills Mothra. Mothra is reborn as a big moth and has a smackdown battle royale with Godzilla. Just wonderful. Again, it's as absurd as it sounds, but it's so enjoyable. It does not take itself too seriously. They have a very annoying lead character again, which is this bounty hunter who's trying to make good. They're trying to do an Indiana Jones with this guy and he does not pull it off. But it doesn't matter because the monster effects are so good. And the rest of the film's so bizarre that it's just so enjoyable. Again, it's a Mothra film with Godzilla as a guest star. It's just wonderful. This is exactly what a Godzilla film should be. This is just so good. So just watch and enjoy it. It's just so much fun. Okay, it's available Region 1. They released it in Region 1 Blu-ray. The quality's great. So I'd highly recommend getting this. Okay, next is Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla 2. In this one you actually get Rodan appearing for a bit. Rodan finally gets a chance to actually show up and do something. They find him on an island and he's protecting these eggs. Turns out one of the eggs he's protecting is Godzilla's egg, because Godzilla just chucked his egg in with her egg in with Rodan's. So Rodan would have to do all the work of protecting the egg while Godzilla went and did his thing. Lazy buggery. The Godzilla egg is found by people and taken back to Japan. Of course, Godzilla finds out and goes back. He starts going for Japan to get his egg. Very much similar plotline to Mothra, but it's a plotline that works really well because they can get the characters actually having some moral dilemmas like, what do we do with the egg? It just works quite nicely. Of course, they built Mechagodzilla, and ace pilot who's got in trouble for past misdeeds has to rise up and show how good he is, and they have to go and win Godzilla and fight Godzilla, and then realise that Godzilla's not actually attacking Tokyo or Japan. He's just wanted his egg. The egg's patched, and his little child had been born. That's all Godzilla wants. He doesn't care about trash the city. He's fine on his own. He doesn't care. He just wants his kid back. So eventually they give him his kid back. That's the plot. That's the movie. Doesn't matter. Again, the one good thing with these films is they're about an hour 40. And yeah, there's a lot of padding, but none of the padding feels that bad. It just feels like it's a bit eccentric, but it kind of works, and you feel you're getting these weird little incidents within a Godzilla movie. So the runtime actually feels appropriate to what they've got because they've filled it with stuff that keeps you interested. Unlike the first two films, I think they filled it with stuff that's not as good. Now they're filling it with weird incidents that are actually more fun. They're campy, but they're fun. I mean, the films, when it's humans, are a bit campy, but as soon as Godzilla turns up, yeah, it's campy, but it's also a bit more fearsome because they keep it a bit more realistic and keep them darker, and even though it's still Godzilla and a man in a big suit, but the model works so good, it's so enjoyable that you can really have fun with watching this giant monster trash Tokyo. It's great. Okay, next we've got Godzilla vs Space Godzilla. Now this is excellent, but it's probably my least favourite of all these Godzilla movies since Biollante, because it does take its time to get going. There is a bit more padding in this one, but it's still, I still think it's preferable, because basically Godzilla genes have gone into space and mutated into this thing called Space Godzilla that's coming back to destroy the world. At the same time, they're trying to find ways to deal with Godzilla himself because they're trying to work out what to do with him, because he's obviously a destructive force and no one can trust him. So do we try and kill him using subtle poisoning, or do you try and mind control him so he doesn't be violent? So you have these two factions going, kill him or turn them. And they're fighting against each other to see who has supremacy in this idea. And of course, that's a bit more farcical. One trying to do one thing, one trying to do the other. They're talking to each other, and it's like the narrative there is not that clear, and it becomes a bit annoying that way. But it's still basically filler until Space Godzilla shows up. You know nothing's going to happen to actual Godzilla. When Space Godzilla shows up, he's a threat. He destroys almost everything. He's all these weird bits with the body can come out and cause these crystal things that no one can do anything with. No one can move or anything. He traps Godzilla's child in one of them, and he's fighting Godzilla on this island for a bit. And Godzilla does a great thing at this point where the John Woo influence is really there, where Godzilla jumps to avoid the Space Godzilla beam, fires his beam of radiation as he's jumping, as he's doing the roll of John Woo, like ooh, and hits the guy, hits the Space Godzilla, and it's like so ridiculous. It's wonderful. That's a screensaver moment. So, so that happens. Eventually they go to Japan, where it's not Tokyo, but the Space Godzilla camps in this one area, and he's trying to send a signal to other beings to say Earth is ours type of thing. Godzilla turns up, so does the machine from Return of Godzilla, but it's now been spruced up to fight. And the guy who was trying to kill Godzilla, as well as the two other guys who are trying to tranquilize him and change his brain sets around this thing, trying to destroy Space Godzilla. the guy who was trying to kill Godzilla to start with still has a problem with Godzilla and wants to kill him, which gives it a bit more suspense as this thing goes through, because will they go mad and start messing up their plan. And basically their fighting thing is Godzilla. Godzilla's then fighting Space Godzilla, and we have a really huge battle in the last half hour. This half hour at the end of this one is probably my favourite of the middle series. The actual moments in the film, I think it's great because there are these weird crystal links. There's these characters fighting each other. Godzilla's beating the hell out of everybody. He's fighting basically a version of himself, and it's just so much fun. It's just so enjoyable. It's ridiculous, but I just enjoyed the hell out of it. So I would highly recommend Godzilla vs Space Godzilla. It's not the best film, but it's the best half hour in it, I think. But it's really enjoyable. Finally, we have Godzilla Vs Destroyah. This was the final Godzilla film of this period, and it's the one where Godzilla dies. This was hyped up. Godzilla dies. Why was Godzilla dying? Because this was before the 1998 version from America, and I had to kill off Godzilla so he could reappear in that film, because I thought there were going to be American Godzilla films for a while. Of course, that didn't turn out the right way. I mean, we know what happened there. So Godzilla was killed off, but it's done in a good way, where basically Godzilla is, because of a mess up on his island that destroyed his island, Godzilla's internal combustion, where it's all radioactive, is now out of sync, and he's going to go nuclear. And not only will he go nuclear, he'll go nuclear and destroy half the world when he goes, because he's so full of radiation. And it's like, how do you kill Godzilla without destroying half the world? And that's a problem for the film. As well as this other thing, this little biological thing that was started from how they could kill Godzilla in the original film, has caused these weird little mutations that are now growing and growing and growing into Destroyer, which is this creature that can change, can go from being these little monsters to being one big monster that can mutate around to change to fight whatever way it needs to. And Godzilla has to take on that, plus he has to be killed before he destroys half the world. This is so much fun as a film. It's also one of the better directed of the films, because there's some sequences in the middle when these first little destroyers, creatures first start growing, that are much more horror stuff and much more aliens and influenced by the West in a good way, and there's good suspense scenes with soldiers trying to fight them, and it's wonderful, as well as having the threat of Godzilla blown up as a constant ticking clock. So it's a really well put together story. It's got some of the excesses of these films, some of the characters are a bit campy and a bit naggy, but that's just the way it is. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I kind of think sometimes, I saw this in a dubbed version, I think some of that is to do with the dubbing. Sometimes what would be a Japanese way of saying thing will be expressed similarly in America during American dubbing, and it comes across as the context of how it's said in Japan. The word means a high, means like a higher way to say the word, which transfers over to the American ones, just always yelling things sometimes when it shouldn't be. It feels weird. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe it's just that was the original film as well, but it feels sometimes that the translation makes the characters feel louder than they really should be if you see them in the Japanese versions. Because I've watched a lot of them in I kind of watched them Japanese with subtitles, and you never get that problem when watching the Japanese version with subtitles. It always feels like it's just the way the people talk their language, and that's fine. In the dub version, sometimes they seem to go much higher to match the lip movements and stuff, when it feels like they're saying something naturally, but in the American dub version it becomes and it's like, this doesn't quite work. So there's that, but who cares? The film itself is great. How Godzilla goes out at the end is great. How he destroys, how Destroyer is destroyed is terrific. And of course at the end, little Godzilla becomes big Godzilla, and he's like, so Godzilla's dead, long live Godzilla. It's a wonderful Godzilla film. This one's very underrated, and I don't think it gets the respect it should get. It's a really good Godzilla film, a really enjoyable one. So I hope you enjoyed my talk through Godzilla films. I enjoyed watching them. I will enjoy watching the Millennium series. I have watched them all before, or most of them. I have a soft spot for Godzilla movies, so it's quite nice to finally do them in this series. So I'll see you soon with another video, so I hope you enjoyed this.